But you can continue now because we have a jury on ground.
Okay, thank you. The second reason for the justification of federalism for Nigeria is regional autonomy. Under federalism, each of the regions have the autonomy to be able to manage their resources and make contribution to the center. Thirdly, federalism encourages cultural diversity. What this means is that each country in a federation or in a federal system is considered distinct, and people's cultures and languages are not subsumed under other regions. Each culture and each language is considered as distinct, and this is otherwise known as cultural diversity, accommodating other cultures. Fourthly, it promotes cooperation. Each of the regions.
Hello, can we all mute ourselves if you are not a contestant or if you are not speaking? Please, thank you. Go ahead, Dr.
Encourages healthy competition, since each region are being allowed to manage their resources and pay contribution to the center. This brings about innovation, healthy competitions that leads to innovations and creativity among the different regions of federating units. Another yet important reason, which is the sixth for that matter, is that it encourages economic growth, given the fact that each regions are allowed to manage their economic resources and make contribution to the center or to the federal government. This brings about economic development. This is clearly seen in countries like US, in countries like Canada, and in countries like India. Another yet important reason is that it encourages citizen participation. Unlike unitary system, which is the opposite of federal system, where power is concentrated at the center, the mere fact that federalism allows for distribution of power between different regions, this makes it possible for people to participate in governance. Another yet important reason in this case, which is the eighth, is that it is not rigid. It is flexible. Federalism as a system of government is not rigid like the unitary system. It is flexible. You can be able to adapt it to your own region and make sense out of it in such a way that it can be managed for the benefit of the people. The 10th one is that it promotes or it fosters accountability. Federalism, which involves the devolution of power between the different units, it allows for accountability since power is not concentrated at one particular level of government. For the amount of time, this is my submission as why federalism is the most suitable choice of government for Nigeria, given our diversity. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Prince Easy for that first presentation. I'm sorry if you're hearing some noise from my background. It seems there's a downpour around me, but I'm sure that we are going to survive this. Thank you very much, Dr. Eze, for that presentation. Our jury, I want to believe that you've had that. Meanwhile, because we are unable to have the opposing side join us right now, I'm trying to still reach him. What will happen is that I will like somebody to volunteer to be an opposition against Dr. Prince Eze among the audience. I don't know who that might be. That means you're just, don't worry about being like the opponent because you're not prepared for that. But we would like to get alternative view against what Dr. what Dr.
Prince.
What Dr. Prince have mentioned. So if you want to go ahead and feel free. So I would like to see your hand up if you want to contest if you want to contest what he has said about federalism. I would like to know if anybody want to contest what he has said about federalism. Anybody at all, even the jury can tackle you right now, because the major idea of the debate arena is that we should have alternative voices. We should amplify alternative views. And that's the essence of this, so that people can think differently from the status quo. So if you have something to say against that, is either you raise your hand or you unmute yourself, then you tell me it is my turn to speak.
If nobody, just declare me winner. I'm publicizing.
Dr. Eze, thank you very much for that. I don't know. So I would like to get our views about it, about what he has said, before we give him chance to go on the second round. Ahmad Adamu, I don't know who want to take up this challenge. Should we put a bounty on this challenge? Should we put a bounty on this challenge? Timmy Babs, you're welcome. Okay, Keneshi Bernard, we have a contestant. Who is here? Who is Timmy Babs? Is that Oloyi Kende?
No, this is Sifeolu Ababawale. I'm just reconnecting.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, let's start with Keneshi. Keneshi want to contest with with what Dr. Eze has said, opposing the motion that federalism is the best form of governance or best system of governance for Nigeria. Over to you, Keneshi. You can mute yourself.
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. There's actually a downpour around here, but I believe I'm audible enough.
Yes,
can I proceed?
Yes, you are.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, in as much as it's prompt, but I, for one, do not subscribe totally to federalism being the best option for Nigeria, with some points. Firstly, looking at a country like Nigeria, you would agree with me that there is wide gap, both socially and economically. Now, when federalism is now adopted, it limits the opportunity of, will I call them virgin or younger states to emerge and do well for themselves. You know, federalism comes with this mentality of something is coming from the central unit, and it creates lack of enterprise on the parts of other states, whereby everybody is waiting for the federal government to release funds. They are waiting for federal allocation. In Nigeria, for instance, some states in Nigeria contribute close to nothing in terms of federal revenue, but they keep getting from the federal system. That is why we've had cases of states whereby you can barely see any meaningful infrastructure in those states. I wouldn't want to point fingers, but if you've gone to some states flying via Ebonyi State, like for instance, if you're going to the north using Ebonyi State, once you pass Ebonyi State, when you get to Benue and some parts of Kogi State, it looks like you're no more in Nigeria because the road network is horrible. Now, the fact that the federal government releases allocation for like Kogi State and some part of Benue State, notwithstanding their mineral resources, they are not utilizing it. Why? They know that it's relation. this control defeat the subordinateness. When things are centralized at state level, with the federal system being distributed equally, it puts people on the spotlight because you know that you have to work alone in your individual state. You know that you have to make efforts. You know that you have to create an enabling environment for you to soar. But knowing that at the end of we go to the federal post, we take money to do whatever we want with it, whether we are working or not, they will still have the federal ministry who will come and construct federal roads for us. It creates laziness. And also, it also creates partisan affiliation because knowing that the one at the federal level is party ABC and party EFG are at the state levels, most of them start affecting or cross-capping system. This creates lack of stabilized politics in the nation because everybody wants to be affiliated to the central power. The same thing played out during the general elections and another the president was capping. Are they being the states have the full? It creates they rely largely on the central system. So I believe things can work where people can actually maximize their potentials and contribute effectively. Federal system of government might not be ideal for us as a nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kenichi Bernard, for that powerful, unexpected, and very, very audacious point there for other thing aside from federalism, based on those points he has raised. For those who are just joining us, this is the debate arena where we amplify voices. And yeah, when we say your voice, you say your arena or the arena. So when I say your voice, you can just type it in the chat box and say your arena. So you can type that. I would like to see our thumbs up, typing that. If you Babawale want to speak, but I want to say, because it's always a side against the other. If you Babawale, are you trying to oppose or support the motion? Can you hear me? Ifeolu, are you there? It's raining here and I know that it can be unstable, but can you hear me? Ifeolu, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay,
sir.
go ahead.
Thank you. I would
Yeah.
like to on what the last speaker just said, not the contestant now, but is it Mr. Kelechi or Mr. Bernard? Thank you for that wonderful and lovely presentation on your opinion against federalism. Way out.
I can hardly hear you, Ifeolu. I don't know. Okay, I can hear you now. Hello.
Discussion going on. I have a little to add to the discussion going on about federalism. Why federalism itself is not bad for Nigeria. I believe in federalism so much, and I like the way it is being structured because, given the Nigerian peculiarity, given the kind of our own specific challenges or our own call to bring there will not be much spirit of nationalism. It encourages ethnicity, and we are looking for a Nigeria where every Nigerian is considered a Nigerian. How then can we revert back to regional or any other form of government there is? And gain or west. For me, I have to look inward, tap from the knowledge federalism for us, see how we can ratify it to suit our own common needs and our common demand. Thank you. I think if you can hear me, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ifeoluwa. I heard you, and those are also great points. I hope our rapporteur, you're working with us, and our timekeeper, I hope you are also with us. Keneshi, are you still raising your hand or the one you've raised earlier? Meanwhile,
Yes, I would like to react to what he just mentioned.
No, not now. Thank you very much. What will happen is relax. We are going on a rebuttal. Keneshi will actually be representing the opposition side. Thank you for volunteering to do this in the absence of the main contestant. We hope that okay, thank you. I'm seeing your arena. You can also type the debate arena. You can type. And yeah, we will be having it in a way that contestants will be coming in with their fans. So you can say, go, Prince, go, Prince, go, Prince, go. You can be typing that. Why those who are supporting Kenechi can also be saying, Kenechi, go, something like that via chat. Just to add spices to this. And you can support either your person's point. You can support them via chat. You can support them when it's time for audience engagement. The rain here is like they want to remove my house. It seems the rain want to remove my house. But I know this house is built on the rock of ages. So let's go. Now we are going to the second section. I want to believe that Dr. Eze is ready for the second session. This is just going to be 2 minutes because of situations around us. Dr. Eze, you'll be going for your second rebuttal session. Rebuttal session is a session where your opponent can actually, where's Kenichi now? Your opponent can actually ask you, your opponent can reach out to you, and your opponent can raise your hand up, but you are the one that will determine if your opponent will speak or not. I don't know if you get me, Dr. Eze.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
So this session, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So this session is a session where your opponent can raise hand. When we see the hand of your opponent raised up, that means your opponent has a suggestion, has a counter argument against you. Then you can grant him at least one time during your 2-minute presentation. Do you get that? It's a counter argument. So your opponent is trying to counter a particular point during this rebuttal stage. Are we good, right? So you have 2 minutes to go and present your argument for federalism. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you again. I want to still reiterate the fact that federalism is the best system of governance for Nigeria. Several other countries that have the same level of diversity like Nigeria has used federalism, and federalism has yielded benefit to them. Countries like US, countries like India, countries like Canada have adopted federalism as a form of governance, and it has yielded interest to them. However, I must state here that we have not fully enjoyed all the benefits of federalism. That is because in Nigeria, what federalism is best practiced on paper, Nigeria at best has only implemented some parts of what federalism is, not necessarily implementing all of it. And so if we could implement all that has to do with federal system, we'll be able to get all of the benefit. But at present, Nigeria has only implemented, for example, in a federal system, countries are allowed to manage, regions are allowed to manage their own resources. But that doesn't happen in Nigeria. In a federal system, regions are allowed to manage their own economy, but that doesn't happen in Nigeria, as well as several other things that goes with federalism that are not allowed in Nigeria. If things like restructuring and regional autonomy are fully implemented, which are all part and parcel of the federal system, now,
Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Dr. Izzy, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? It's raining from here. Just manage with me. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, sorry about that. My network is currently bad because of a heavy rainfall from here. But I hope you can hear me right now. Can you hear me?
yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you.
I lost some parts where Dr. Eze was talking. Okay, thank you. Thank you, what our jury, Mr. Oluwaseyi Logo, for that. We hope that our other jury will join us, hopefully before the end of this. So I want a counter argument for what specific things. Kinechi is just joining back. Our adopted or placeholder, our placeholder. Hello, can you hear me? Kinechi Bernard, are you there? So we want him to counter what Dr. Eze has said, but I know he was not around when Dr. Eze was talking, but he can just share his point. He has a point he wants to share the other time. Hello? Kinechi Bernard, are you there? Can you hear me? Sorry, can you mute? So if you are not speaking, Kinechi, it's your turn to speak. You had something to say the other time. Please go ahead. Against federalism.
Okay. Can I go on now?
Go on. You have 2 minutes. Thank you. Our timekeeper is knocked out by the... Sorry, our timekeeper... Hold on, please. Our timekeeper is knocked out by the network, but let's hope that he gets back soon. But in the space of time, Grace Upai, you can also assist as a timekeeper. Thank you very much. Kenechi, Bernard, over to you.
I'll let you go ahead.
All right, thank you. Okay, two things I would like to point out as also used in clarifying my earlier statement is the fact that we'll be lying to ourselves if we believe that federalism is going to unify the nation. What I mean by that is if federalism is a unifying factor in Nigeria, while applying your state of you're applying for a job, I need to know if you're Igbo, Hausa, applying for your, we need to understand the fact that in as much aspect, but we've not gotten it. What if a thing that very first did not mean that define create on